that's been like my life's work to be able to do that at this point with minimal prep and all that kind of stuff. That was like my entire, growing up, started riding a sport, racing the amateurs, racing the pros, all those experiences that you guys just, it's everything. That was my life's work right there, to be able to get back in that position and to be able to control, live in the moment, and focus on the task at hand and try to capitalize on the situation I put myself in with hitting the whole stock.
JB and AC, the energy was awesome. Those two are just like really finding their groove.
4 straight overall wins.
$100,000. Adam Cianciarulla.
Checkered flag and Justin Brady. Cianciarulla has won the 2019 World Moto Pro Championship.
He's gonna do it to become the oldest winner in the history of Supercross.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us for another episode of the AC and JB Show. We appreciate all you guys' support. It's been so much fun. Fresh off of Millville and Adam, I'm biased, man. I'm just going to say it right off the top. Millville is my favorite outdoor national of the year.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I think coming off of Redbud last week, we were giving them a hard time. Redbud, great facility, but we were giving them a bit of a hard time with the track prep. And from TV, you never really see everything, all the little details on TV, but hearing what the riders had to say, watching it, the track prep, dude, looked good. You had those inside lines, those kind of man-made inside lines that they did. The outside, you saw guys switching up, going back and forth. I love the big downhill. For me, that was like the most fun section in pro motocross, period. You just jump down the hill. You're going about 70 miles an hour, and it's just like, who wants it? Who wants it bad enough? Going down into that turn there, you could always make a pass. Guy goes inside, you go out. But first, before we get into Millville, I want to say 10K followers for us on Instagram. That's huge. That's huge, double digits, and 10,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. So, JB, we are moving up in the world.
Love it, man. Continue to grow. And the biggest thing is, man, we're having fun. We love it. We're fans, just like all you guys out there watching and listening. And it's our favorite thing. No doubt about it. But Millville, man, the reason I said I'm biased is I grew up about 3 hours south of there. So I would go there and race on my 80. Yes, it was 80s back then. AC is not 85s like it is now. I was riding an 80.
Big old square front fender.
Exactly. But I have some childhood memories, man. One of my best memories is, I believe it was 97. I had a broken leg and I was crutching around the place, and I went up to see Jeremy McGrath, and he gave me his front fender, which I still have today. Signed it. He picked me out of the crowd.
No
way. It was
way.
So cool. So I still have it to this day. And then there was another year. It was right around then. Scott Sheik, like when I was younger, when they're pulling off the track, all the kids and probably a bunch of adults too, oh, throw me your goggles, and the riders are all hot and they're throwing their goggles, whatever. I caught a set of roll-offs, Smith roll-offs from Scott Sheik. And do not think I didn't wear those every race the rest of the summer.
Come on.
Every race. The roll-offs
You're that
were
guy?
burnt up, done. I wore them the rest of the summer. So
that's so
Millville
funny,
is
man.
great. Childhood memories. And like you said, the track's awesome.
That's funny. Anytime I've given goggles to a young kid, it's like anytime I go to sign it on the lens, because that's where we normally do on the lens, and they're like, "Oh, can you do it on the goggle strap?" And I'm like, "Oh, these goggles are going to see some action."
That's right.
These things are going to see some action. I will say, I always did my best to give the fans some time on race day, of course, as we do. Very, they make it to where we can have a job doing, racing dirt bikes. So it was always important to me. One time at Millville, I need to apologize to whoever this kid is. Uh-oh. Because it was an okay race. I can't even remember the year, but it was I was, kind of backdoor top 10 area. It might've been like 2017. It was hot. I came off the track in the second moto, and a kid, before I even got my helmet off, like putting the bike on the stand, kid ran over and he's like, "Can I have your jersey? Can I have your goggles? Can I have this?" And I was like, just heat of the moment right there. I was like, "Dude, you got to give me a second. Like, you got to give me a second." And then of course I cooled down about 10 minutes later and I felt terrible. And the kid was gone. So kid, if you remember that, he probably hates me. He probably hates me. You always end up with at least one guy that you didn't get to, or had a little scenario like that you feel bad about. But yeah, just needed to hold myself accountable there. But I agree. Millville is just one of the, I mean, there really is so many iconic tracks on the calendar when you look at the pro motocross schedule, but Millville is just one that is always stood out. I think early 2000s, it used to race Loretta's, as when you're going pro, you used to race Loretta's, and then your first pro race was Millville. That's where you got to see, I remember, Ryan Dungey, Trey Kennard, Austin Stroop, Mike Alessi in 2004. So I don't know why it's always just kind of stood out in my mind. Of course, you have the Whoop section there, the Whoop Monster. And yeah, it's a fun racetrack, and they really know how to prep it. Like it's like the perfect amount of deep. The lines on kind of the finish line section of the track, there's a little bit more ruts. On the other side towards the Whoops, it's a little more bermy. So I just feel like it's a man's man racetrack, Justin Braden.
Yeah, it has everything, right? It has a long start, pretty sketchy first turn, though. I will say that it's a really fast right-hand first turn, and then you go down that long straightaway. But that whole section is sand rollers and pretty sandy, bermed up, like you said. And then you go over, you come back out of the sand, and then you have that big, nice jump that Chad crashed on years ago. They call it Catapult now. And then up the hill, and then you have up and down those huge hills is really fun. Some fun jumps. So yeah, you just have a little bit of everything. And the only types of soil. Yeah.
The only thing I will say about Millville, it's a little far from the airport.
I was going to say the same
thing.
It's
a little far. You fly into Minneapolis, grab the rental car. It's about maybe hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, right around there.
Or something like that. In my last year racing Millville 2023, I had a motorhome for a couple years, but my last couple years racing, I didn't. And I had this app on my phone, is like RV Share or something. You can rent an RV for the weekend. Basically, you can have them, they'll come out, set the RV up, everything for you. So it's all ready when you get there. It's like super easy. And no, I'm not sponsored by this app, but it did make the experience like much, much better. I got a big old trailer, big old master bedroom, had some recliners in there, dude. Did you ever do the motorhome thing? Because it's next level when you can do it at outdoors.
Yeah, I never did it at outdoors. I did a couple times, like you said. Like I would rent one here and there. There was about 5 years in a row where we looked at them in the off season. Paige and I would go look, like, oh, let's do it. Let's travel as a family. And then, nah, let's not do it.
Yeah.
So the best decision I made in my career was probably not doing it.
It's a lot of money.
Last year in Supercross, we did exactly what you said. We did the RV share thing. And then I actually rented one a couple times, and we drove to the race as a family, like from California to Phoenix. We had the motorhome there, and it was a ton of fun. I mean, look, if you could show up and just have it at the track like you did, be unbelievable. Especially a place like Millville, out in kind of the middle of nowhere. There, Rochester is the closest town where we stay. Obviously, it's about 30 minutes from the track. So,
and I did the RV after my rookie year in the premier class, off season 2020. I bought an RV, and it really is. It's great. But it was only me, really. I didn't have a family, so it makes more sense. I think it makes more sense if you have, a family to do it, just so they can have somewhere to chill. Most of the time, the families are, if they don't have a motorhome, they're kind of just hanging out in like the hospitality area, kind of off to the side, under the semi. So it's way more comfortable that way. But man, it's expensive. It's like $75,000 for a driver. It's
let's break it down. Let's break it down. So how much did your motorhome cost? 500?
Yeah, I bought it used. I got a great deal on it. It was about 500. And I actually sold it a couple years later. We'll get back to the cost breakdown. I sold it for a couple years later for more money. I somehow made it was that weird time during COVID.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was five, or it might have been 600 for the RV. It's like probably 75 for a driver. What do you think they're spending in gas?
Dude, I wouldn't even have a clue, but a lot.
And another 30.
Did your driver stay in a hotel?
Yep.
Yeah. So you still have to get hotels. You still have to get rental car. Like you still have to do everything except now you have to buy all your own food and pay a driver and pay the insurance and pay the fuel and pay for the bus. It's so expensive, man.
It is expensive. Well, what I did is I towed my truck behind it. Yeah. And so they would, and this is what I think a lot of the guys do. The driver will take it to the race, park by the team semi, unhook the truck or whatever car they have on the back, and then go, he would come and pick me up from the airport, drive me back to the track, set everything up, cook dinner, whatever, and then go back to the hotel. So it was a pretty good deal. But at the time, being kind of a single dude, just me and, Nick Way or my buddy Derek, my filmer, would come along with me. It was some great times. Like you don't really get a chance to hang out with the team. I got a chance to hang out with the guys at Cal. We would play darts. It's a way more relaxed, of course, atmosphere on a Thursday night, a Friday night. So I did think it was cool to be able to spend a little more time with the team. But me, and a lot of us dirt bike racers are the same way, so cheap. And so I had my financial advisor, my agent, be like, dude, look, hey, this is what you're making. These are your taxes. Like it makes sense. Here's the numbers, because I had to see the numbers. But still, that thing had like heated floors and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I would feel okay if I podiumed that weekend and I knew I was getting some cash. But if I went out there and got 7th, and I'm coming back and getting ungeared in a $700,000 RV, I'm like, dude, I'm blowing it. I'm broke. It sucks. So at a certain point for me, I was like, had a couple tough years with some injuries. I'm like, you know what? Let's get rid of this thing while we can and do the hotel thing. But
well, when you're making $4 or $5 million a year, you need some tax write-offs. You know that.
Come on, man. Come on. Hey, look, I've seen your backyard. JB,
I've seen your home. You love that.
I've seen your home.
Love going to that.
Dude, you had a 35-year career in dirt bike racing.
That's right. That's the only reason I have that backyard, because I did it for so long. That's it.
Oh, come on, dude. That's crazy. Well,
what else you do this week? What else you do this week, AC? You said you started the show, and before we jumped on you said you got a little head cold, a little sick after last week's show.
I did. I think I picked that up in Texas, visiting my buddy Lawson. I came back and had just enough to get through our show, and I lost my voice for like 3 or 4 days, which my girlfriend was stoked about, because I couldn't speak, for a few days there. So, but no, man, I've just been cruising, just enjoying myself. Oh, of course I'm golfing.
Okay.
Of course I'm golfing, dude.
How's the swing?
Not good. Not good. No,
that's good. Keep it like that. Tell SMX.
Well, don't worry. I'm grinding. I'm taking lessons right now, and we're in no man's land, completely no man's land. I'm doing something different every time I take the club back.
I like it.
But there's a method to the madness, dude. I'm coming for you. I'm coming out. They're going to give me, after my performance at Quail Hollow before Charlotte playoff, they will give me an honorary membership, my own locker, the whole deal. Yep. What about you, man?
Just so you know, I've had the same swing since I was about 15, playing with my mom's Lady Velvet clubs back in the day. I've got some upgraded clubs. I got them about 10 years ago, and I'll be just fine. I'll be good.
Well, I'm going to rent some so I have an excuse.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not going to bring them. What'd you do, man? You got anything juicy for our listeners here?
Not much. Kind of a mellow week. We're headed to the beach this week. Going to Oak Island, and
you can't be getting any tanner than you are right now, dude, because that's something that I have to wrestle with every Monday. I come on here, you have beautiful complexion, you're tan, it looks like you've been laying out every day, and I come in here, I blend in with this wall behind me, so I need you to maybe sit under an umbrella or something.
All right, I'll do that. Then we went and did a little BMX racing. Thankfully, close to Charlotte, we have a BMX track in Rock Hill, South Carolina. That's like, it's a world-class facility. They do an amazing job. And Beckham decided to do some racing. So went and lined up. We got a trophy, came home P3.
I like that.
Pass for the lead, the last corner. And it was exciting, man. It was fun. And you'll get this when you become a parent. It's like that moment is so cool to see your kid out there just performing and having fun. And yeah, my wife Paige is next to me. Come on, pedal, pedal, pedal. And I'm like, come on, bud, come on. You know, you're willing his way to the finish, but close finish, got third, got a trophy. He wasn't stoked. He's as competitive or more competitive than me. And he's going to have a long road if he continues to get these results.
Well, I could tell because you brought him to a few Supercross races, and
Yep.
we would sit there and play Mad Skills on our phones, and he was not having it. If my lap time was anywhere close to his, dude, he was not into it whatsoever.
No.
Does he want to go? Is he doing the BMX thing? Because he plays a few different sports, right? You have him in some team sports and things like that.
Yeah, he kind of does a little bit of everything. And look, there's no right or wrong way to parent. I'm literally just winging it. Probably like every other parent out there, probably laughing when I say that, but literally I'm just winging it. And whatever he wants to do, we're going to do. He loves baseball. He loves playing football. He loves BMX. His favorite thing is motorcycles. He thinks he's going to be a champion like Adam Cianciarulo one day.
Come on.
And I don't know, man. I don't know if he's ever going to even want to be that level. Like, he just does it for fun. But he gave me his list last night before bed. I was putting him to bed. I said, all right, bud, is it starting to get to the point where, like, if he's going to get that mad that he doesn't win, we need to put in some effort, dude. Like, he hadn't practiced in like 6 months. We just show up at the race. Like, if you're going to get mad that you don't win, we've got to practice. So, like, let's go out in the driveway and do some sprints, or like at least ride your bike around, or I'll take you whenever you want. So, but his list is motorcycle racing, 1, 2 is golf, and 3 is BMX. So I like the list. I can get on board with the list.
Me too.
And told him last night, let's go. So we're gonna go down to Club MX tomorrow, do a little riding. He said his perfect day. You'll like this, AC. His dream day, which his birthday's coming up, so I may make this happen. Go to Club MX in the morning, do some riding. On the way back, hit the golf course, and then go practice BMX at night. So sounds like a good day to me.
Never a bad day at Club MX. JB, are you training for something? Do we have an off-season race going on this fall?
I mean, we can't disclose anything yet. I have spent some time down at Club MX. I haven't been riding. Beckham's just been riding, but
okay.
Got a new 450 down there, getting all prepped up.
Wow.
We'll see.
I love that. I love that. Let's get into some racing here. JB, 250 class, man. What a storybook. I don't even know what I was watching. Jeremy Martin off the couch, last race, hometown race.
Hometown, his backyard.
It's in his backyard.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
It's insane. I was watching that. It kind of reminded me, I flashed back to earlier in the year, Malcolm Stewart winning his first race, Tampa Supercross. To me, this is right there with Malcolm's first win of the top moments in racing so far this year. And I was watching it, man. I was just thinking to myself, like, dirt bikes, it's just magical sometimes. Like, every once in a while, something just crazy special happens like that in racing. And I was up off the couch, jumping up and down, rooting for, like, I wanted the race to be shorter. I wish it was 25 minutes because I just wanted Jmart to get to the line. Second overall, 3-1 on the day. And what's even crazier to me, Justin, 2 hole shots. 2 hole shots off the couch. What?
Yeah. Unbelievable. This is something, Adam, we're going to talk about this for years. I mean, it'll be 30 years from now, and we'll remember this moment. This is similar to, like, I mean, for different sport reasons, but Tiger Woods winning the Masters.
Oh yeah,
Was that 2019?
19. I just
Yeah,
watched
in
the full
19.
broadcast like 3 days ago.
Yeah, I mean, I literally videoed that on my phone because I'm like, this is a historic moment in golf. That is what we just witnessed in the motocross and supercross community. Jeremy Martin in his last race, obviously raced the first couple. He raced Paula in Hangtown. It didn't go well. I
No,
mean, didn't go well at all.
no.
And to announce and for Star Yamaha to say, hey, we'll give you one last shot, your last race at your home track, in your backyard, your friends, your family, this is going to be a great way to go out. And I think for all of us, it was just like, as fans, we're like, man, just go out healthy, just enjoy it with your family. And I think he even said in an interview before the race, like he'd be happy with a 15-15 or a 10-10, like just whatever. And we're going to have him on the show here in just a little bit, which is going to be awesome. But the way that happened, I mean, there's very few times in life that things add up exactly the way you feel like they're supposed to. And last weekend, Saturday afternoon, it lined up exactly like it was supposed to. Jeremy Martin wins his final race of his career in his backyard. It showed his brother Alex and his dad, during that last lap, looked like they were announcing to the track. And just what a special moment and what a legendary career Jmart has had. 2-time champ. I mean, Adam, you were around when he was winning. You were a rookie or sophomore year, and he was dominant, man. He was so dominant. And to end that way, it makes you feel good for him. And I'm going to ask him this later on, but just retiring is a very difficult thing. It's really, really hard. You and I have went through it. And to retire on top or get like some big closure out of it, it's got to mean a lot to him and his family.
And had Jeremy not raced the first couple of races this year, and as we said, it didn't go great. He was mostly outside of the top 20, had a couple crashes. If he hadn't done that, and I hadn't seen that sample size, I could have imagined a world where he came out, did Millville, and was a top 10 guy. Justin, it's hard, whether it's your last race, whatever, when you haven't been out there every weekend. And he was doing VIP tours, all Supercross. Like, even by his own admission, I've heard him in some interviews, and we'll see what he has to say about it. But I think he thought, after his big concussion last year, I think he thought that was it. It was done. And as a racer, you really want to have like a farewell, a send-off. So the fact that, that Star stepped up to the plate and allowed him to do this, I think is great, because Jeremy has given a lot to that team. Yeah. As you mentioned, 2014, 2015 champ. And during that time, really 2014 to 2020, every time Jmart lined up, he was a threat to win races. You think the Geico Honda days as well. I mean, that guy was a bad dude. We've all heard stories about his work ethic and everything else. But for him to go out this way and just take advantage of the opportunity, you only have 2 motos. That's it. That's it. And you'll never be out there again. And for him to come through like he did, I thought super clutch too. 2 good starts, which is so hard to do when you haven't been racing. He had Deegan right behind him in that second moto. At one point, the gap was like 2.8, started to come down a little bit, was getting closer to 2 seconds. And then I don't know if Hayden was like, I'm good, I've got the overall. To me, Justin, it looked like Jmart just broke him. Like, he was, of course, Hayden has the leg. He's dealing with the bruising on his leg, and who knows exactly. But I do know that Jeremy was going fast. Like, there was undoubtedly, he looked like he belonged up front. And, as somebody that had won a couple championships, won a lot of races, you got to think he just got back to the lead, and all that muscle memory, all that experience comes back. And to me, we know he's fat. We know he's fit off the bike. We've seen him do Leadville. We've seen him do all this different everything he posts on social media, his power numbers on the bicycle, it's all out of this world crazy. But to have the riding fitness is different. And to have enough, I'm sure he was suffering, but to have enough to hold off Hayden Deegan, one of the most dominant 250 guys we've seen in a very long time. Like, man, that's going to be a cool one to tell your kids about. Go back, watch that one on YouTube. Like, what a way to do it. And it's one of those moments in the sport where everybody in the pits, every rider, everybody is happy for him. You know, it's just an amazing way to go out. And as you said, retirement's hard. And so for him to have this to hang his hat on, wow, just a special, special moment. Well done, Jeremy Martin.
Yeah, and he's been vocal about how tough retirement has been. So I could just imagine how much this helps, how much this can close that door. You can hang your boots up on the shelf and say, yes, this is awesome. I've closed it out the way no one else ever, except for Ricky Carmichael, has closed out a career to win their last race. Ironically, RC won Millville, I believe it was 07, to close out his career. And yeah, for Jmart to do that. But you mentioned the fitness thing. I don't care how well he knows the track. I don't care what type of start he gets. I don't care if he's lived and breathed at that place for many, many years. To have the fitness, the bike fitness down the stretch after not having very much time on the motorcycle. I mean, AC, you and I lived this life. How difficult. I mean, it took years sometimes to get to that spot where you can last 30+2, late afternoon. Look, it wasn't super hot, but it wasn't like it was 70 degrees outside. I cannot stress enough how difficult mentally and physically that had to be the last 10 minutes of that second moto. And like we started this off, it's just meant to be, man. Some things in life they just line up just perfect. This one lined up perfect. And look, I had tears in my eyes. Like I think we all did. You mentioned jumping up and down. It's just like, this stuff does not happen very often. And when it does, you have to celebrate it. There was not a single person that was not happy, like you said, for Jeremy Martin. And what a way to go out, man. Struggling just a couple months ago to now being on top of the world.
And I want to address the home track thing, because I don't want the fact that, you know, it's his backyard. Of course, he's done a lot of laps there. There's no doubt there's an advantage. There's an advantage, but it's not the advantage that's going to take him from where he was at the start of the year to from 20th to winning.
20th to first, yeah.
That's not Jmart. Even in his best years, was always better when it went back east. The track got hotter, the tracks got rougher. He always seemed to do better in a little bit more of a kind of a softer dirt. So that's kind of his specialty anyway. But yes, it was his home race, but I don't want that to take away from what he did either. There's no doubt there's a little advantage, but there's not, no matter how many times you ride a track, it's, you know, Justin, like, yes, it helps, but it's not everything. It's not everything. Do you agree or do you not agree?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's more mental than anything. We've talked about it time and time again, where if you've had success, even in a city, like let's just say St. Louis. I always loved going to St. Louis. It was close to Iowa where I grew up. I liked the dirt, but the track was different every year, but it just had good vibes. I can only imagine how great of vibes you have literally coming to your home and the tracks in the backyard. I'm sure there's some advantage, but also talking to Alex and Jeremy over the years, they don't hardly ride that track.
Yeah.
And when they do, it's super hard packed. They usually ride, there's a sand track and a track on top of the hill that they'll ride most of the time. So I'm with you. I think it's just more mental than anything. You feel comfortable. You've got your friends and family around. You've had success there before. And, you know, sometimes it can go the opposite way. A lot of people don't like racing in their hometown because of too many distractions.
Yes.
He channeled it all in, man, and gave his very best effort. And yeah, man, we'll be talking about it for many, many years, Adam.
Went out like a champion. And just like that, hey, the last 2 weekends, we had Jet's unbelievable performance at Redbud. He came on the show. He was kind enough to give us the time. And now we humbly present to you the biggest talking point of the weekend, Jeremy Martin, on our show. Let's bring him in.
All right, joining us now, the story of the weekend, really the story of the year. Jeremy Martin with the win, a walk-off win to end his career in his backyard. Jmart, thanks for taking the time. Looks like you're out having some fun on the golf course right now, huh?
Yeah, we're having some fun, man. A little sore, a little tired today, so this is going to be my active recovery and, get the body moving a little bit, get the blood flowing, and, just grateful.
And you've mentioned a couple times. I was able to talk to you a little bit during Supercross, and obviously we've all been there with injuries, and you've talked about it. It's a tough couple of years leading into this race, your last race. Could you ever have imagined that it would have gone as good as it did? I mean, to get 2 hole shots, like, people don't even realize how difficult that is, but especially when you haven't been racing consistently. So it's got to be just to feel like a dream, right?
Yeah, I mean, I actually had my buddy come in from Redding, California prior, and we're working on doing the vlog for my YouTube channel. I only ever did 5 videos, but I wanted him to record the last one, and when we posted, you guys will see Alex called me in the morning, and he's digging the track. And he's like, hey man, just, enjoy the day, take it all in. And I was like, hey, if I go 15-15, that'd be a win. At this point in my career, I just wanted to have the closure on it. And then obviously to go out and have a day like that. I mean, I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't expect that. But I knew that it was my last hurrah, and we are all athletes and competitors, right? And when we do line up and we put the helmet on, you put your best foot forward no matter what the outcome is, right? And I think that's what you saw. Is I just had an opportunity, and I lived in the moment, and I was all in to do the best I could.
Yeah, I think it's really underestimating just how difficult that moment is. You've had minimal prep, but also it's a very familiar spot that you were in as well, because you've won championship, you're 2-time motocross champion, you've done 1 million laps around Millville. So when you're in that moment, when you hole shot Moto 1 and you're in the lead, how familiar did that feel to you?
It felt really good. I was like, man, this is the first time I've really probably gone around the first turn, and I haven't had to rip a tear off in quite a few years. But yeah, I think what we saw was, that's been my life's work, to be able to do that at this point with minimal prep and all that kind of stuff. That was my entire, growing up, started riding a sport, racing the amateurs, racing the pros, all those experiences that you guys just, it's everything. That was my life's work right there, to be able to get back in that position and to be able to control, live in the moment, and focus on the task at hand, and try to capitalize on the situation I put myself in with hitting the whole shot.
And everybody in dirt bike racing knows that you are a absolute freak of nature physically. We've all heard stories going back to your, 2-time national champion. Kind of during those days, it was like you were this folk hero. You would go and do 340s, and then you'd be riding all the way to the top of Indian Truck Trail with Johnny O. And I've heard, spent a couple years training with Alex, and so he would tell me stories too. But my question is, how, we've seen you doing marathons and doing the mountain bike racing, but we all know as racers, you can be so fit off the bike, and then there's just something a little bit different to riding fitness, right? So what translated well and what didn't? Were you suffering?
Yeah, no, I was definitely suffering. Especially Moto 1, I got a little bit kind of tight. I was kind of, Millville, you're always kind of on the side of the tire. So we were able to make an adjustment for Moto 2 that when you settle in after about 10 minutes, I was able to ride faster and I was more comfortable with less effort, basically. So that helped. But Moto 2, I was definitely hurt. They put on the board 5 laps to go. I looked behind me and I thought it was Deegan, and I was like, dude, come on, I'm in the danger zone. I got 5 laps left in my and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I'm not going to lie, guys. I had doubt. Like, when has anybody ever really stopped to charge the Deegan, right?
Yeah.
I that stuff went through my mind, but I was like, hey, I was able to flip the switch. I thought about me racing Leadville last year, and I was like, dude, I can suffer. Like, I'm busy the last 5 laps of your life, of your professional career here. Let's walk in and you can worry about the rest later. And I think that was my mindset on it.
Yeah, I love it, man. That's so cool. Let's talk about retirement a little bit and maybe how this race in particular is going to help the process, because you've been vocal about how tough it is. I lived it just a few years ago. AC lived it the last 12 months. You're living it now. The retirement from professional racing and just that day in and day out pursuit of perfection and waking up with a passion and a goal each and every day. Talk about the difficulty of that and maybe how much this is going to help with that walk-off win.
Yeah, this is, last year I got knocked out in Detroit at the first East Coast round, and then again 6 weeks later at club I was out for 6 minutes. I needed, the doctor said, hey, you need the rest of, you can't hit your head again for the rest of the year, and I was pretty much retired at that point, and I was questioning whether I wanted to come back, but I didn't have the closure. I didn't have that announcing, hey, this is my last hurrah, and I was obviously able to announce the Millville deal and get that closure to where I think I can now put the boots away and I can say, hey, I'm content. And it's hard. It's really hard, like, right? Like JB and AC, you guys know, like, we were at the top level of the sport, and it's a drug. Every Saturday there's an event, there's a new opportunity and a challenge to try to become better and to beat the people that you're competing against. And when it's your life's work, you've done that for, so many years, how do you, that's your identity. It becomes your identity. And how do you just walk away from that? And you're like, hey, all right, we always know it's going to come. Chapter 2 is going to come. But when you're all in on plan A, you're not really thinking about chapter 2, or, like, you know what I'm saying?
Totally. Yeah.
It's hard. It's a tough thing.
That was going to be my question. It was like, I was watching your race, and I think we all were. I know JB, you were, man. I was standing up off my couch. I was rooting for you the whole way. It was really so cool to watch. But I was going to ask, was there any part of you, like, you went out, you won the race, walk off? Is there any part of you that's like, dude, I still got it? Like, I imagine, you would just going out there and winning a race. Like, of course it was your home track where you grew up or whatever, but you still got to go, like, you still got to do it. It's not just, it's not like you wouldn't be competitive in other, at other venues. So was there a part of you that was like, man, I can still do this?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I knew that. I always kind of deep down, I had a lot of doubt after what had kind of happened the last couple of years, but I always felt like on the right day, with the right comfort level with the motorcycle, that I still had it, and I was able to kind of do that. Yeah, like, you think of your race next weekend, it'd be great, right? But I think after I'm content now. I'm really content, and I'm just super grateful. And
awesome.
It's good to know that I was still able to do it. I did it young in 2014. When I was 21, I won my first professional race, and I was able to, at the end, I was still able to be competitive after a pretty gnarly dry spell, that's rare.
And you talked about doing Leadville, doing marathons, and with your identity being so wrapped up in being an athlete and being a dirt bike racer, is that helping you? Is that helping you kind of diving into kind of the endurance sport world? Is that helped you kind of transition out of racing?
I totally think it does help for sure. Like, I mean, like I said, we've competed every Saturday for a long time, right? And we've always woken up and we've had that goal to want to be better. And when chapter 2 hits and you're all in on option A, what do you do? You know what I mean? So I think the biggest thing is kind of immersing yourself into new challenges and new things, right? And I've never run a marathon before. I did Leadville last year. John Weston really pushed me to do that. Otherwise, I don't think if I would have had that goal of Leadville last year, I would have spiraled. I would have definitely been in a worse position. So Alex has been doing a lot of marathons this year, and my next goal is to stay motivated and stay busy and keep pursuing that hunt of a challenge. I'm going to run the Twin Cities Marathon here in early October.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's awesome. I do have to ask, what did Bobby Regan say after the race? And did he offer you a Washougal ride or the rest of the year? Is it on the table?
No, Bobby didn't say anything. He was like, my God, dude. Like, we both just looked at each other and he said, good job, which is rare from Bobby. And then he gave me a hug. And yeah, he's like, are you sure you want to retire? And I'm like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Did we have a bonus structure for the race? Are we getting a check for that podium?
Yes, I was able to negotiate a little bit in there.
Let's go.
So I'm not mad about that either.
Awesome.
Right. Love it.
Cole, do we have some fan questions for him?
Yeah, we do. So, Jeremy, how do you envision your role in the sport future? Is he looking for a wider role of the promoter or track owner side of Millville, or will he look for a role on the team rider side? Both? None? Other?
I would, obviously my parents have had Spring Creek Motocross Park since like 1988. So, I would love to keep, the family business going. It's a hell of a legacy that Alice and I were able to race as professionals. My dad raced for Can-Am Bombardier back in the day, ATK with the dirt bike, needed hair scrambles. So I think us Martins have been pretty immersed in motocross, and it's kind of become our life's work in a sense. So I would love to keep that legacy going. So yeah, it's Alice and I and my sister Jennifer. We would love to become promoters on the outdoor national circuit and keep that going. I'm going to be your VIP host for the last 3 FMX rounds. And I'm open if anybody ever needs any help. I mean, I think of, I've worked with a lot of really intelligent, amazing people throughout my career. And one thing that I wish I would have had, I made a lot of really good decisions in my life, but I also made some decisions that was kind of dumb throughout my career, right? And I wish I would have had, I had trainers, but I wish I would have had a life coach.
Yeah.
To help.
I totally get that.
That through stuff, right? Because, and I think that's one thing I wish I would have, done. Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? To me, it's like going through the hard times, going through the injuries and stuff. That to me is what prepares you to be, I could totally see you being in that role for somebody, just making sure that they're not doing anything because, in the heat of the moment, in the heat of the emotion, it's so easy to make the wrong decision. But the fact that you've kind of had an up and down career, like we kind of all have, I think that's what prepares you for that role,
100%.
What specific moto that he can remember does he think he was riding at his absolute best? When does he think his peak of professional racing was?
Man, that's a good question, and it has me a little bit stumped. I mean, I obviously think in 2014 I was like really good. I was able to win, and I won. I think the first 4 or 5 motos. I don't know exactly what it was, but I was obviously pretty blown away. I think 2015 defending that outdoor title, I was confident at that point. Like I knew that I could win when I went to the line. So I think mentally I was probably at my peak there. And then in 2018 on the Geico Honda before I broke my back, I was really, really good. And then I think I almost I started to get back to my peak of my 15 championship year. And then I got hurt at Ironman. I ran down Jet in Moto 1. And then, I broke my arm there. And I think that's what I kind of, from then on, I was just trying to always try to get back to that 2021 form or that championship form. I guess that for me was like the pinnacle kind of right there.
How did he keep his mind focused on racing forward while such an unbelievable potential outcome was staring him in the face? It's so hard to race forward while so much is suddenly on the line. What did he think about?
I think the biggest thing for me is it's like I can't really control. You can't, like, when you get on the line, I can't control what if Brayton lines up next to me or AC lines up to me next to me. I really can't control what they're going to do, but I can control, and I can focus on racing the track and just living in the moment and going lap by lap. So I think that's where that kind of, I've been in it for a while, and as being a veteran in the experience of racing, I think that was for me. I was able to just say, we're focusing on controlling what you can control, and we're going to race the track and try to be as fast as we can and attack each section. That was kind of my mindset on it.
Awesome.
Jmart, I have a question for you. We rode a lot at the Honda track together. And what year did you do the first few rounds on a 450? Was that 18?
Yeah, it was 2018. Yep.
2018. So that preseason, AC at the test track, Jmart on a 450. I'm telling you guys, like everyone watching or listening to this, dude, such an elite level, like unbelievable on a 450. And Jmart, you had to feel pretty good, huh? That preseason coming in, you were a 250 rider, but then you did the first few rounds. Dude, you were ripping on that 450.
Yeah, that factory Honda was the special machine right there. I was super dialed in. I had a KYB hybrid fork on, and I was really dialed in, and I felt like if I could have brought the track Jmart Anaheim, I think I could have been pretty special. But that's the beauty of the practice back to the racetrack. And I think I was lacking a little bit on the mental side as far as believing in myself and being able to execute on race day against the best in the world at Anaheim 1.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to do. My only memory really with you, Jmart, is you coming down to the sandbox in Florida. And I remember anytime I'd want the guy that was prepping the track to like, hey man, can you touch up this face or can you touch up here? Jmart was like, dude, we gotta leave the track rough. Like we gotta leave it rough. And at the time I'm like, man, like, yeah, it's not that important, you know, but when I look back now, it's like, to me, that your legacy will be that, you know, somebody that just really got everything they could out of it. You know, that's got to feel good. It's got to feel good knowing that you didn't leave any stone unturned. I'm sure there's times you look back and you're like, maybe I did too much, but you can never look back and be like, I didn't do enough.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and there was times where I lacked motivation as well, and I was like, you know, I wasn't fully into it. But yeah, I was pretty gnarly, probably a little bit too much. And sometimes I think it affected my results, and it maybe affected some of my relationships and stuff like that. But that, you know, that's life, right? Like we do a lot of really good things. We sometimes we do things different, and we make mistakes, and all we can do is kind of learn and move forward.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, we're so stoked for you. The whole sport, the whole community is stoked for you. Glad you were able to go out on top, man. Best of luck with everything coming your way.
Yeah, I appreciate being on the podcast and showing your boys. I watch you guys all the time, and I love what you guys are doing and what you're building. And keep it up, boys. Good work.
Appreciate it, Jmart. Great career, and man, what a way to end it. Congrats, brother. Enjoy retirement.
Hey.
Man, that was awesome. So cool to hear from Jmart. Out having some fun. He's
Yes.
already in retirement mode. AC's on the golf course. That had to make you proud.
Oh, man, I loved it. I loved it. Saw those clubs in the back, and I honestly felt bad. I wanted the interview to be a little bit shorter because we've all been there. I know I have. you're on a even, our production calls sometimes during the week. I'm trying to get out, play a quick 9, quick 18. I'm sitting there on the production call. So I've been on that side of it too. So I'm like, I don't want to take the man away from his golf, but Jeremy, man, just a good dude. And there's not much left to say other than he's a good dude. I hope he sticks around. Sounds like he's going to stick around in the sport. Sport could use him for sure. He could be a very, very valuable asset to a, up and coming racer, a lot of experience, a lot of wins, and just, that's it. That's all I got to say about Jmart, man. What a way to go out like a true champion. Shall we move on to the rest of the 250 class?
Let's do it.
Where we
Jmart
started?
was second overall. Hayden, though, still got it done, AC. Injury and all. Still got it done at the overall.
How much do you think that leg is affecting him right now?
It seems to be affecting quite a bit. I mean, from what he's saying and what I've just heard through the grapevine, but also I love his mentality. And I don't know if it was on Race Day Live or the actual broadcast. I believe Katie Osborne was able to talk to Brian Deegan, and he just meant just the championship mentality. You don't get days off. You don't get to take weekends off. You show up and you put your best foot forward. And I love that, because that's what Hayden, the aura that he's putting off is just like, look, yeah, I'm injured, but it doesn't matter. I'm still here to show up. I'm still here to win the race. And sometimes that's a slippery slope. You can go the other way. You got a big points lead. He could just kind of mail it in and get a top 5 pretty easy, even injured. But for him to go out and still win, and I love it. And but I'm sure he's battling some demons with the injury for sure.
I think I've noticed. I asked that because I do think I've noticed him, and James said it on the broadcast a little bit, but you see him kind of sitting down a little bit more. He's a guy that he stands pretty much as much as anybody else on the track. And I have noticed just a little bit him kind of taking some breathers in spots. But to me, it's not really a surprise that he is able to overcome it and still win, because that's what he's been so far this season, is just really dominant. And honestly, of course, him going down in practice at Redbud, hurting his leg, of course, you don't want that to happen. But he lost a big chunk of points at Redbud. And I think for a young kid that is as dominant, that has as big of a speed advantage as he's had so far this season, that coupled with a big points lead is very easy. It's very easy to get complacent, and not even complacent. It just lose focus a little bit. When you know that you can show up on the weekend and not even have your A game and still win, like it's a slippery slope in terms of being locked in and, showing up with that intensity, with that focus. And, JB, with how fast these guys are going now, any moment of losing your concentration can end in a bad way. So I don't mind it for him. I feel like he's going to want to, once this leg heals up a little bit, I think he's really going to want to put a stamp on this championship. I think he's going to use it as motivation to come out and really dominate these guys. We saw Joe Shimoda, the end of Moto 1. I thought Joe rode really well, made a pass on Hayden, but wasn't able to make it stick. And I love that. I mean, that just encapsulates what Hayden is. He's dealing with the leg, gets passed by Joe at the end, picks up on his lines, goes right back around him. And if you're Joe, you got to be thinking, man, like this guy isn't even riding during the week right now. He's spent 12 hours of his week in a hyperbaric chamber in an ice bath, and I still can't get it done. It's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, I think if you're Joe, you're still pretty pumped, though. I mean, lost his rear brake in that second moto, still came in with a 4th. Does he win that second moto? Maybe, but like I said earlier, like just the moto gods or whatever you want to call it, they were there, and they let these circumstances happen for Jmart to win the race. But I think if you're Joe, you're still pretty stoked. I mean, you dominated Redbud. Of course,
Yeah.
Hayden had his
Oh,
issues,
for sure.
but I think you're really thinking about 2026 or even SMX. Right now, Joe's clearly the second best guy. He
Yeah.
just is.
Agreed.
And, you know, in a contract year, hopefully he gets it done and stays at Honda. He can go into SMX with a clear head. He's the one guy that I think, what's that?
I heard that he inked a 1-year deal with Honda. Is that, you know anything
Just
about
1
that?
year.
That's what I heard.
Okay.
But I don't know. It's speculation. I think I read it somewhere on social media.
Yeah,
That's
I
what I'm
mean,
hearing.
yeah, I would think that sounds, I mean, for him to stay, it makes sense for everybody involved. And for the president of Honda to be at Redbud and go 1-1 as a Japanese rider, man, you try to get that deal done before you fly out.
Oh, yeah.
And get back to Japan. You're just like, it just, all of it makes so much sense. He's having a lot of success.
Mm-hmm.
The bike looks incredible. You have to look forward to 2026. He's the title favorite going into Supercross and motocross, whatever coast he rides. And then you go into the summer months thinking he could win the championship. And then I would imagine if it's a 1-year deal, the only sticking point with staying at Honda would be the pathway to the 450 class. You live this AC. I did a little bit, but you always want to have the timing of your contracts in place to where you can have an opportunity in the 450 class. Well, unfortunately, as everybody knows, that 450 pathway is clogged up at HRC Honda. It is clogged up to the
bolted
max.
bolted up. But yeah, there's
Yes.
2x4s on the door. You're not getting in there.
Yes, for several years. So, but in saying that, okay, let's just hypothetically say there was rumors of him going back to Pro Circuit Cowie.
Yep.
I mean, that's potentially locked up as well. You've got Levi Kitchen there that wants a 450 spot. You've got Prado there for the next 2 to 3 years. You've got potentially Sexton going over there for a few years. So that's clogged up. Where else? I mean, the Yamaha, that's clogged up a little bit with Cooper Webb, Justin Cooper, and Hayden Deegan. So I just think,
Tough.
I think wherever, if you're Joe or you're advising Joe, the one thing I would say is do whatever you have to do to win championships on a 250, and 450 doors will open.
Yeah, drive the value up. Exactly. And so, I agree with you, because if you he ends up going to Pro Circuit, right? He's been there before, so that'll help. But you always talk about it. It takes some time. It takes some time to get used to the bike, used to the team. And I do think, as you're saying, I do think his best chance to win a title, to drive his value up for 450, is staying with Honda.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I agree.
Yeah.
So, and all that, I think it was still a good weekend. Think for Joe?
Yeah, I do. I do think it was a good weekend for Joe. And he's starting to come on strong. Like he's starting to kind of catch his flow a little bit. And the reason why I say it's got to be frustrating is because I really do believe that Joe is an elite rider. Like and of course, you know, the guys in the top 15, they're all elite and, you know, from one perspective, but I do think Joe is a guy, he's well-rounded. He can win in Supercross. He can win in outdoors. We know he's fit. Like he's always been fit, is always going to be fit. He's been pretty durable for the most part. I just feel like he's one mental step away from being a guy that can come out next year and win both championships. Like I just, with the skill and the things I've seen that guy do on a motorcycle, like he's got it. He's got to clean up like the little mistakes, the bad starts, the, you know, first turn crash, stuff like that. He's got to clean up. But I really do think if he just wakes up and maybe that's the start of it, like what we're seeing right now. You know, he's clearly, as you said, he's clearly the second best guy. And so you would think mentally for him, being more of a veteran in the 250 class now, once Deegan's racing 2026 250 Supercross, but once he goes out of the picture, Joe's got to be next in line. Like he's the next best guy. Levi Kitchen has been super inconsistent. Julian Beaumer, he was out this weekend with injury. He was great in Supercross, but hasn't been great outdoors. Like looking down the list, he's next up. And so I think I just, for Joe, the reason why I say it's got to be frustrating is just because the guy's so dang good on a bike.
Yeah.
I really do think he can do the things that Hayden can do on the motorcycle, but I think Hayden has the mental advantage, obviously, at the moment.
Yeah, and it seems like the one thing that Joe could do without is obviously the bad starts. If you told me that Joe Shimoda got 7 top 3 starts next year in Supercross, he's your champion.
Oh, no
I don't care
problem.
who else is there.
No problem.
But it's the 12th place starts or the 10th place starts, and he only gets to 6th. And so I think it's as simple as that. I think it's literally as simple as starts, because when he gets a bad start, I think what you're referring to is there's not like a lot of want to get to the front. It's just like, wait, what's Joe doing back there? Like he's still in 7th.
Sometimes, but then there's other times where we see him, like we saw him at High Point the last lap. Remember getting by, forget who he had to pass for 5th in the last lap. But there's sometimes where you're like, wow, he's really into it today. Yeah. But it just feels, and kind of what you're saying, it just feels like sometimes he kind of, once the race is kind of unfolding in a bad direction, sometimes he's like it's okay. Like, it's okay. I'll take this today. You know, it's easy to do, JB. Things can get chaotic back there, but if he's going to reach his potential, can't have those. You have to have conviction in everything that you do if you want to be a champion. Mm-hmm. Period. And you know who's somebody that is a bit underperforming right now to me for the skill level? Levi Kitchen. That guy is so good. Agreed. Like, holy crap. Great dude. Like, I've talked about it before. Love his temperament. Love his attitude. I don't know. Is it Ken's fault? This weekend, Ken came in like a coaching role to Millville this weekend. So are we putting it on the 94?
I mean, let's just look at last year's results at Millville. Levi Kitchen goes 1-1. Then he flies in the 94 and he goes 13-6.
Not good, Ken. Come on, man. Come on.
Wow.
What do you think Ken was telling him, like, between motos, between sessions? You know him well. I know him well. What's Ken's coaching style?
I honestly think Ken was there just to have fun, man. He just needed out of the house for a couple days. He just wanted to go back to the races. We all miss it. And the older you get, which AC, I'm sure you'll get in. Actually, there was a couple names you mentioned that reached out for your help during Supercross, and you were kind of like, not quite sure yet. You'll get to a point, maybe you're there now. But I know for me, it's so much fun to help. Like, literally, that's my favorite thing to do, is to help other riders or athletes or whatever, just like whether it's life stuff or riding stuff or whatever. And I think that's Ken's role with Levi now. I mean, I talked to Ken last week and they were going to the movies together. They were doing a little double date.
Oh yeah. Love it.
And Levi and his girlfriend. And Ken was excited to go to the race this weekend with Levi. So I think he's taken on like that big brother role. Mm-hmm. And what better guy do you want?
Totally.
The guy that's going to take some time to do that is Ken Roxon. So obviously we're kidding about Levi's results and all that, having Ken there. But I think it's cool for Ken. He was on the broadcast a little bit. JT interviewed him. And looked to be having fun, and I love that for Ken, and it's great for Levi. If you're Levi Kitchen, man, you're asking questions, you're trying to soak up every bit of knowledge, because who can forget 2016 Millville, dude?
I was just going to bring that up. And you know what's crazy? You guys that don't remember, our listeners, go back and YouTube. I'm sure you can find this race on YouTube. 2016, was it the first moto? Where you got a bad start and he came through?
I don't remember, but I think it was like I was tied to a telephone pole.
You know what he told me on Monday?
What's that?
He told me, he said, I don't really get what everyone is talking about. I felt like crap the first few laps. Like, I didn't feel good. I don't know. I was like passing these dudes by accident, basically, is what he said. And I'm looking at him. I just went 7.9 in the 250 class, just out there fighting for my life. I'm looking at this guy like, are you serious right now? You're really going to tell me this? Like, you just blitzed the field in 3 laps, walked away, won the race. But yeah, it's cool for Levi to have that. And again, when I say Levi's underperforming, I'm saying it because he's so dang good. Like, he really is just an unbelievable rider, and it feels like since that Daytona crash, he just hasn't been able to kind of string a couple solid races together. He did have that string of podiums kind of early in the year, but I feel like if his starts were more consistent, like, how many times have we seen him start and he comes around the first lap and he's in like 20th, 18th? You can't do that. Like, you can't do that. Those guys are way too good. I mean, you go down the list of the top 10, top 15 guys, they're all really fast. There's really fast dudes getting like 16th every weekend. So I would just like to see Levi somehow figure out how to get off the gate. He's a taller dude. He's a heavier dude. I don't care if you got a wheelie over the gate. Like, I'd like to see him hit the gate one time.
Just start timing.
I'd like to see him hit the gate.
Call up Tony Alessi, bring him to the race, and start getting some go at 7.
Yeah, just time it. No, but if Levi starts up front, that's another guy. If Levi came out next year and won both titles, it would be nowhere near as shocking as Jmart winning a moto this weekend.
Yeah.
Levi can do that. So I think it's just starts for him. Another thing I want to talk about in the 250 class is Triumph, dude. I mean, they're not winning. They weren't on the podium this week, but they have a massive, like, positive presence in the class. I mean, there's so many times there was times this week where you had Swole, Forkner, Harrop, like everybody in the top 10. Smith, It's crazy.
Yeah, all 4 bikes in the top 10. And Mikko Harrop, I mean, that was awesome. 4-3, podium the second moto. And how look, I went 4-4 one year at Millville for 4th, and I'm like, man, sometimes 4-4 will get you on the podium.
Oh, yeah.
But a 4-3 for 4th is like, no, 4-3 for
That's
3rd,
brutal.
typically. Yeah, just a bummer. But he's riding great. And look,
Really
he's a
good.
big dude, and he's getting good starts on that bike. So I really think now, and you live this, there's usually 2 or 3 teams. If you're a top level 250 guy, there's 2 or 3 teams that are on the top of the list because of their motorcycle. The motorcycle means so much in the 250 class.
Oh, yeah.
Triumph is one of those teams now. If you're a high level 250 guy, a championship level guy, dude, that team to me is on the list. Like, they're in the running of, hey, do I go try this bike? Hey, do I meet with the team manager? Like, you really have to seek it out. You think about Pro Circuit Cowie, think about Star Yamaha, you think about the KTM
right in there.
bikes. Dude, they're right in there. You have to consider them. Obviously, Factory Honda, but yeah, I've been impressed. Been really, really impressed with that whole team. And Austin Forkner, 9/11.
Austin Forkner sighting.
8th
baby.
overall. He's back, dude.
We're
back.
so back. We're so back.
It was good to see, though. Good to see.
And I sat down, one of my first interviews that I did for Race Day Live was at Tampa with Scuba, team manager, Triumph. And that guy is awesome. I love his temperament. No BS guy. He's for the riders. And, sometimes people in that team manager role, they're not, I don't know how to say it, but they're a little bit more corporate. They're like a little bit more disconnected, where Scuba really, to me, gets on the same level as the riders. He makes himself very approachable, and communication at this level is everything. Communication between, feeling comfortable to come to your team manager and be like, hey man, this isn't working for me, or, I'm feeling this, and just making sure that relation. I think Scuba is really smart when it comes to that. So I think that's one of the big reasons why Triumph is doing so well. And yeah, for Austin Forkner, a top 10 so far with how this year has gone for him. In one regard, it's an absolute success. You take a look at his last few years, it's crazy. We all remember the huge crash at Arlington, brain surgery, the fact that he's even back in racing. You and I have said this before, but we're kind of giving him a free pass on the year. Like, do whatever you got to do to get through the season. But to see signs like this from Austin, to see him in the top 10, you got to imagine those are the small little things that can turn into him being more competitive, in 2026 or just going forward in general. It's like, to me, being in that top 10, those are the little things that you can start to build on. Okay, I've got some momentum. This is it's a good result. Like, there's no doubt that he's stoked on the weekend. Not to say that he can't. We know that he has the talent to be up more towards the front, but Justin, it starts there. It starts with these little wins. And yeah, I think it's awesome. I don't think we've seen the last of Forkner.
No, I think if he can continue to build, continue to be right around 10th, get some top 10s at the 3 SMX races, I really believe in January we're going to have to talk about Austin Forkner, because remember, there were several times during qualifying he was in the top 3, and you and I were like, man, Forkner looks really, really good today. And remember one race he was running top 5, late in the race he crashes. There was just things that were happening, but that's part of the building process. I mean, we just think about him as being a winner and going to win the championships and then getting hurt and then coming back, winning again, getting hurt. So we expect him to win, but maybe that's part of the process. That guy like Scuba, who you were talking about, maybe that's part of the plan. Hey, we're here for you, bud. We're going to support you no matter what. We believe in you. Your voice is heard here on this team. We're going to support you this whole season, whether you win or you get 15th. And I think as a rider, sometimes it's nice to hear that, because if you're Austin, the only thing that he's known is winning. But sometimes you're just not to that level, but you still try to be that level and you crash. And then you come back and you try to be that level and you crash. So maybe this is what it's going to take to get back to that winning level, or even just the top 5 level. So I like everything that Austin has been doing, although I'm sure it's tough. When you leave the race outside of the top 10, being Austin Forkner, man, it's got to be difficult.
And he's one of those guys, this is the last thing on Forkner here. He's one of those guys that, from a fan's point of view, you're watching him ride, you see how good he is, the races he wins. You also see his crashes. You see him get hurt. And a lot from a fan's perspective, they said the same thing about James Stewart. They said the same thing about, not to put myself in the same conversation as James Stewart, but they said the same thing about me sometimes. It's like, if he could just learn to back it down a little bit, just a little bit, like it would be, he would be out there more, be more durable. That is very hard to do. Like, it's just, when you're wired one way, and it's so hard to kind of reinvent the way that you process all the information, and the way it's not as easy as just going out there and going a little easier. It's hard for me to kind of articulate this exactly, but it just takes a lot to kind of rewire it. It was, for me, I remember coming back after missing a couple years, coming back to outdoors 2016, and I was kind of doing what Austin's been doing. I was kind of top 15, top 10, barely. And so I was trying to learn how to back it down the right amount. But for a while, it was only one of two ways for me. It was wide open, or this, subdued version of me that was getting 12th. Like, it was really hard for me to find that middle ground. And I think that's what Austin's doing right now. I really do. I think his default mode is to be cautious, to be safe. The race starts getting away from him, starts making a few mistakes, or, sometimes you're back there in 15th, 18th. You got a guy in front of you that is riding crazy. He's riding, cross jumping from one side of the track to the other. He doesn't even know what day it is out there. You see that you're behind that for a couple laps, and you're like, I don't know if I want to risk it. So I think that's what he's doing. I think he's just kind of trying to find that middle ground. And I haven't given up hope that he will find it. So yeah, solid from Austin Forkner. Again, 250 class, Hayden Deegan show till further notice.
Yep.
450s.
Right.
JB,
two
you
more
got
things
anything
on
else?
250 class.
You got two more?
Real quick.
Hit me.
Dilian Schwartz.
You don't have to be
Got to
quick.
give Dilian Schwartz a shout out. This kid has been grinding all summer.
7th.
He gets 7th overall, and there's been multiple times, like at Redbud, he qualified in the top 5. And I'm just like, wait, is it time to give – nothing against the team he's on now, but is it time for him to earn a factory spot?
Yeah.
Now, the only thing is Supercross isn't as good as motocross, so could he eventually be a better Supercross guy. I'm telling you, man, this kid is something special in motocross. He's fit, he's fast, and yeah, just give Dilian Schwartz a shout out. Well done.
He's got a lot of intensity. He's got a lot of intensity. I know that he tries. I mean, look, a lot of the guys out there are trying really hard, but he strikes me as a guy, even practicing, living out here full time in California, like I've been the last few years. I've seen him quite a bit out at like Fox Raceway riding.
Oh, you sound like there's been a day or two where he's giving you all you can handle.
Oh, 100%. There's days on, even when I was on a 450, he's on a 250, and he hops behind me and he's right there. I can't shake him. And I didn't even know the guy's name at the time, but he's made a name for himself slowly but surely. The Bar X Toyota of Redlands Yamaha team, they've been solid. They've also Parker Ross on that team.
Ross
had
as well.
Really good results. Had a chance to golf with him sometime in the off season. Great kid. So that team's crushing it right now. So I'm glad you brought that up. 7th place, Dilian Schwartz. Excellent job.
Yep. Last thing, we got to touch on Tom Vialle. Our buddy Lewis Phillips.
Your guy.
Yes, my guy. 2-time Supercross champ. I want to get your opinion on something. Our guy Lewis Phillips reported that he's got a 1-year deal. He did an interview with Ian Harrison after the race as well. Tom's been offered a 1-year deal in the 450 class from Red Bull KTM. He's got some offers to go back to MXGP for multi-year deals. A la Honda, I'm sure there's more offers. What do you do, AC? Obviously has to move up, but the dream was to come over here to America to race Supercross and motocross. He's now a 2-time 250 Supercross champion. Do you give up on the dream and go back home, make more money, potentially win a world championship over there? Or do you stay the course and do a 1-year deal? It's a slippery slope, dude, because typically contract season starts in Supercross. We're just being real. He's probably not going to be great on a 450 in Supercross year one. Not many people are. So he would have to be doing his deal late, maybe show something during the summer. But what's your opinion, AC? What does Tom Vialle do?
I'm dipping into the Sky Miles, baby. I'm headed back. I'm headed back over the pond. Oh, you are? Oh, I'm gone. I'm
really?
So gone. Yeah.
You're signing with Honda in Europe.
And those guys in Europe are starting to make, I'm pretty sure those guys don't make bonuses over there, right? Isn't that how it's always been?
I'm not sure, man. I've heard many different variations over there.
Yeah, what I've heard is that basically the salaries are higher, the bonuses are lower. Something like that. I don't know. It could be changed now.
Okay.
But, I mean, if he's got an offer, 1.5, $2 million from Honda over there.
Oh, he's gone then. You think it's that much?
I mean, I think he could probably compete for be a top 5 guy, win some races, be a podium guy over there right away.
Tom, book your flight.
I don't know, man.
If it's over $1 million, book your flight.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It also just depends on how much. There are guys that, like Ken Roxon, that come over here to race and they love it. Ken calls himself, he's an American citizen. He loves it over here. He pretty much knew even a couple of years into his career in the United States that he was going to live here post racing. And then there are guys that, like Joe Shimoda. Joe is like, dude, I'm going back to Japan, man. Like, as soon as this is done, I'll see you. Peace out. See you guys later. I don't know. That could have changed by now. This is years ago. I talked to him about it. But if he loves the lifestyle here, maybe he's got a girlfriend that's from here or something, then the conversation changes a little bit. Mm-hmm. But just from a racing point of view, my thing is he could try. He could do the 1-year deal, try, and then will those deals for the GP still be there?
Yeah, that's a question.
Is that even if he didn't do well in Supercross, if he came out in outdoors and was respectable, you would have to think that some of those offers are still going to be there on the table for him. So I don't know. Also another option, take a swing at it. Do everything you can. If you go in Supercross and you're a 15th place guy and you're like, dude,
come on. Come on.
I'm not saying he's going to be like a consistent. I'm just saying if say he's a 5 to 10 guy. Say he's a 5 to 10 guy, and he's like, if he's a 5 to 10 guy, stay. You're fine. Like, you can have a factory ride, make good money, stay here. But if you're outside the top 10, if you're like 10 to 15, and you already feel like you're riding really well, like if you feel like there's a lot more on the table and you're 10 to 15, okay, think about staying. But if you're 10 to 15 for a rider of his caliber and you already feel like you're kind of on the limit, I don't know. Then it's more of a conversation to go, in my opinion. I just haven't seen, we saw it at Southwick. Like when Tom is aggressive, it looks like he can compete with anybody.
Yeah.
But he just hasn't always, like this year, for whatever reason, it seems like his aggression is kind of inconsistent. And I'm not sure why that is. But I mean, he won the Supercross championship, so successful year.
Yeah. The only equivalent to him potentially on a 450 is Justin Cooper. And Justin Cooper's had an amazing year.
Oh, yeah.
He's still signing 1-year deals, hanging on by a thread, not getting paid as an A guy. So, like, if you're Tom, you're looking over at that thinking, yeah, maybe this deal in MXGP does sound pretty good. So I think you talked me into it. If it's around $1 million, because you would have to think his KTM deal.
First class.
Yeah, first class, yeah. Probably around 400 or 500 KTM deal, you think?
Yeah, knowing stories at KTM, they're pretty cheap. I would think so. 400, 500. It's just criminal. Yeah. It's criminal. It's basically minimum wage for somebody like that.
Yeah. It's interesting. But shout out to our boy Lewis Phillips for reporting on that. That was a great report and some awesome. Good insight for what's going down behind the scenes. Let's talk 450s.
Mm-hmm.
The Lawrence show. The Lawrence show. Hunter Lawrence wins the first moto, dominating fashion.
Beatdown. That was a beatdown.
Unbelievable ride. Jet obviously goes down. Jet hole shots. Goes down. James had a great call on the broadcast. He was mentioning, got to somewhat be careful these first couple laps. It's real slippery. They laid water down. And literally as he said that,
dude,
Jet two-wheel drift at the end of the whoop. So shout out Stu on top of it.
Something about the way Jet came through the turn going into the first set of rollers, I literally said out loud, he's about to crash. I said that out loud. I did. It was just like a feeling I got watching, like just for whatever reason, his front end looked a little twitchy. And I just, for whatever reason in that moment, I called it. Yeah. Then 2 corners later, he goes down. That's tough. It's a tough place to be leading the race at the beginning. Just, you have to be your intensity has to be really, really high. And he made the same mistake at Red Bud, just asking too much out of the tires, got the bike too much on lean angle. Down he goes. But I thought we were going to see the same thing.
Yeah.
That he did Red Bud. Mm-hmm. I thought he was going to kind of come through, get into that third, second spot, take a bit of a breather, assess the situation, go back to work and get it done. But Hunter Lawrence, dude, he said, not today. That's as fast as I've ever seen Hunter go on the bike. And even when he had like 9-10 seconds at the end of the race, like the last 3 laps, that dude was on it. Like there was no sign of him racing backwards. He was totally locked in the moment. He looked like he was in that kind of that flow state. And wow, yeah, what a performance. I think Hunter is getting better, dude. I think he's starting to get tired of getting second.
To me, that's the best we've ever seen Hunter Lawrence look.
Period.
He looked so in tune with his motorcycle. His bike looked incredible. His bike looked better than Jet's to me.
Yep.
It looked more balanced. He could do certain things on the bike that just looked really, really effortless. And for Hunter to win the first moto by 15 seconds over Jet, 25 over Chase. And you just think about a year ago, Chase was beating Hunter quite a bit. And Hunter was going really fast. But for him to beat everyone not named Jet, even in the second moto, I mean, they beat Chase by over 40 seconds. The second moto AC, over 40 seconds. So, yeah, that to me, that's the best Hunter has looked.
Yeah, and he was in the second moto. Hunter, he was right there. Like, it would be real easy when you have that much of a speed advantage on third. Like, it's really easy not to, I don't know, to ride a little bit more in your comfort zone. You're going to suffer a little bit less. It's going to be, you know, kind of feels like a recovery effort, especially with Hunter's technique. And when he finds the flow, it's just like this effortless type of riding. But you could tell, like, he did not, even if he wasn't going to win that race, like, he wanted to be as close to Jet as possible at the finish line. And he kept it within a second or two for a long time, Justin. It was maybe till 15, 20 minutes in when it started to go up to 3-4 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, really impressive. Obviously, great starts again by both HRC Honda 450s. And, yeah, I mean, they're
so good off the gate.
They're setting sail,
so
dude. They're by far the best too. Now, Chase, I guess I don't want to say by far the best too. I think Chase is circumstantial right now. Like, we were looking at lap times before we started the show, and in the second moto, he matched Hunter and Jet's best lap time. Chase Sexton did. So I just think it's a matter of consistency over the 30 minutes, and then coming back. We can't talk about this enough, where coming back to racing 30+2 is difficult. That's why we were talking to Jmart just about and talking about how difficult that is. So for Chase, I just think it's a few things. I think it's a matter of there's a potential change in manufacturer at the end of the year.
Not potential.
It's a done deal.
He's gone.
Okay, he's gone. So manufacturer change at the end of the year. I think the motivation level when you're not in a championship battle for a guy like Chase Sexton starts to diminish a little bit. And I think Hunter and Jet are just better right now over the duration of 30 minutes. I think Chase can go as fast for a lap or two.
Mm-hmm.
So then I think once it gets up to 10 seconds or whatever, then he just, you know, he's got a big lead on fourth and just kind of cruise it in. So I do think the numbers that I don't think people should read into that 48 seconds that Jet beat Chase by that second moto. You shouldn't look into that too much, because I do think there's a little bit of built in there that Chase is just kind of cruising. He's in no man's land at a certain time. So there's nothing to really chase. There's nothing to pull away from. So yeah, I think he's dealing with that a little bit right now, but Hunter and Jet, by far the best two guys.
Well, when you come back, when you haven't been, even if you take, to me, it was all I needed was like 3 weeks off the bike for this to happen. But when you have a little bit of a break like he had, when you come back and you're running the pace, you can do it. Like, you can do it for a short amount of time.
Yeah.
The difference for me was always that things were coming at me faster than they would if I was racing every weekend. And so when things are coming at you faster, it's taking more energy, more effort mentally to process everything, to focus and do it all. And so it becomes very difficult to do that for a long period of time. And that's when mistakes happen. And that's what you've heard Chase say, even on the gate before the first moto. He's like, I'm not on Hunter and Jet's level right now. I just want to ease back into it, get there. And I like that. That's a smart play. A lot better than going out there and being on that limit. Like, Jet and Hunter's race pace right now is Chase's sprint pace. Yeah. And as Chase continues to go out there and do it, like, that will change, no doubt. So I like the strategy. It's smart, but on the other end of it, I don't like it for the mental battle, obviously. Because, yes, Jet and Hunter know that Chase isn't at 100% strength yet. But anytime you're beating your competition, your nearest rival, by that amount of time, it can kind of like diminish. It almost like diminishes their standing, like their stature in your mind overall. And who knows, maybe for Jet, maybe he does look at Chase the same, even after something like this weekend. But from Chase's side of things, if he can adopt a mentality, say like a Chad Reed, who is great at this, Chad could go get beat by a minute by James Stewart or Ricky Carmichael one weekend, and then after the race be like I'm coming for those guys. Like, it was just, it was just a bad line I was taking here, or, missed the setup with the shock. And then we go out the next weekend and win the race or battle with the guys. So if you can have that mentality of like Chase Chase is going out there right now, sticking to his plan, being intentional. He knows what's coming. And as long as that doesn't affect him mentally, like as long as he doesn't, let that get to him, I think it's a great strategy. And I like to think Chase is there mentally strong enough, believes enough in himself to do that. But it does take having a lot of belief in yourself to go out there, to stick to your plan, to not go over your limit, to allow these guys to beat you. I mean, Chase, he is a freak competitor. I mean, the guy wants it so bad, and that's been the critique so far in his career. Sometimes he wants it too bad, puts him on the ground. And so there's a few different ways of looking at this, but I think this is overall, I'm kind of thinking out loud here. Overall, I think this might be good for Chase. Like, I really do. With how competitive he is, I'm so surprised that he's out there right now and he's cool with not competing for the win. Like, I think that mentality is going to help him more than he's going to hurt him overall, JB.
Yeah, dude, I 100% agree with you. This is going to help him in 2026, in 2027. When he's in championship battles like he just was with Cooper Webb, if he had this mentality now, he's a champion. You just lay up at Dallas, right? Like he's had to go
100%.
through this process to now be this guy that, yeah, he's 40 seconds off the lead, but he's not really 40 seconds off the lead. He could show up next week and win. But I believe he has Charlotte circled. I really do. I think just after hearing him talk last year to start the playoffs, hearing his mentality now just through some interviews and such, I think he really wants to make a run at this SMX World Championship, and then obviously move on.
That's the one he doesn't have, right?
The one he doesn't have.
Supercross title. He's got the outdoor title.
Yep.
Doesn't have the playoffs.
Imagine if that happens. Imagine if he wins that, changes teams, gives him big confidence going into 2026, which that's a tough feat, dude. Those top two guys are incredible.
And it's hard. And we'll get into this. We'll get into the Tomac and the Prado situation. But it's almost a polar opposite for what we're talking about with Chase. I think what is going on with Tomac and Prado right now is kind of similar in a way to some of Chase's kind of mistakes and stuff in the past in terms of his mentality. It's when you expect yourself, when you physically cannot take losing, like you can't do it. You like, you're focused on the result more than you're focused on the process. And you see yourself as a guy that can win, that is supposed to win. And when you come from that place, you go out on the track and that doesn't happen. Sometimes that can lead to some, discouragement in your head that leads to mistakes. Or sometimes I've been there before where it's like, I'm so far away from where I thought it was going to be that it's almost like I'm in a panic. Out there, I'm riding out of control. Then something happens, and then I'm in the tough blocks on the concrete, doing something crazy. And so, yeah, I like you said, I'm glad we had this conversation. I'm glad we spoke this out loud because I do like it. I like it for Chase. If he can just chill a little bit, learn to take his medicine when he has to, which, look, he's done a fairly good job of that so far this year. He's had a couple mental lapses in Supercross, but yeah, I like it. I like it for Chase. If you don't have anything left for Chase Sexton, we can just go ahead and get into Eli Tomac, man.
You want to go there?
I don't like it.
I think Eli Tomac and Jorge Prado are totally different. But
they're different.
I think it's different. Tomac, to me, just looks like he's changing teams as well. And he's not in this championship anymore. And to me, it just looks like he's ready to push fast forward. He wants to get on the new bike, get off of this team, get off of this bike, start fresh. He wants to go into Supercross 2026. And he just, to me, like there was a lap where he was going through the sand rollers. I think it was RJ or somebody went by him. And it was just like, yeah, man, just go ahead. And that's not normal Eli Tomac. So
let me counter you. So this is why I think that might not be the case is because we've talked about, he talked about, these last few years, it's like 1 year at a time. Oh, I might retire. When asked about at the start of this season of like why he wants to continue, is because he's proved to himself that he's competitive, like that he's still competitive. So that tells me that he is still leaning on his results a little bit in order to tell him like, okay, you're good to keep going. You're still in this. And so my problem is, if this continues, will he start having second thoughts? Will he be like, oh man, it's like, yeah, I could do it every once in a while, but this pace is just too high for me to go week in, week out. Like the excitement of the start of the season is over. We're kind of into the dog days here. And it's been a couple weekends where, let's face it, man, like you said, he's not into it at all. At all. He starts going backwards, sees somebody pass him that should never pass him, and he's like, dude, yeah, you guys go ahead, because I'm over this. Like I'd almost say like I'm too good for this. Like that to me is kind of what it looks like. And that's just me making me analyzing the situation. I don't know for sure. It could be a multitude of different things, but for whatever reason, JB, like you said, it's not happening out there for him right now. He does not look like he's having any fun whatsoever. And we've all been there.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say, and this is the only way that I can relate to what Eli's going through, is when you get older, when you have kids, I think it was a Toby Keith song. I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm good once
as I've
always been, or something like
as
that.
I ever
right?
was.
Yes.
I ain't as good.
That's what
as
happens when you get older. That's what happens when you get older. And I really think that, I mean, you have to pick and choose your battles more and more as you get older. And I live this as well. Look, my level wasn't as high as Eli's, but I can just go off my best level. And it was harder to bring every weekend, weekend after weekend after weekend. I literally had to pick and choose. And Cole Beach, the producer of this show, he's big into cycling. Cole, it's similar to cycling where those guys pick their A races. Like, okay, this is my A race on a calendar and that's my A race. We don't have the luxury of picking A races. We've got 31 A races that we got to be ready for. So I literally would go through the schedule, Adam, and be like, okay, Anaheim won. Obviously want to start the season strong. Okay, I'm really good in St. Louis. Indianapolis has been great for me. Like I would pick 6 or 7 races out of the 17 race Supercross schedule where I knew I was going to be locked in. I talked to my wife on those certain weeks. Like literally we had it planned out to where like I knew I was going to be like more tired because I was going to be more of a dad these certain weeks that were like a B race. It sounds crazy, but literally that's what I had to do when I would be older because my mental space wasn't as much as it once was because I had 3 kids and you've got businesses and all these things going on. So that's the only way I can relate to Eli is maybe it's something like that. Maybe it's just if you're 2% off of your best, yeah, he goes 6'9". But I guarantee he could win Washougal this weekend. He could win Washougal. That's how quickly it can change if you just focus in that little bit more.
I get it. I get it too, because when stuff's hitting the fan, like what does Eli have left to prove?
Exactly.
He's kind of already done it. He's not really he's racing right now because he wants to. And so when he's out there and things aren't going well, to me, it's like there's a few different ways this can go the next couple of years for Eli. I mean, he can go out there, do his best every time and get on the podium sometimes, maybe snag a win here or there and, just be kind of a top 5, top 7 guy and be okay with that. Or he's going to, if he's like, oh, I'm not a consistent winner, like maybe he'll just call it. Like you see guys like Chad Reed at the end of their careers, like, guys like you knew you weren't going, in 2022 that you weren't going out there to win the race, but you knew you could you had your own goals. You knew you could go out there, do your best, be competitive. I'm sure you had a goal, top 5, podium, whatever. Is Tomac that guy? Is Tomac that guy that's going to go out there and, get a whole shot, get passed by Jet, Hunter, Justin Cooper, be back in 5th place, and is he still going to try his best and finish the race in 5th? Like, is that going to be how this next year goes, or is he going to find more form, be a guy that's win? So there's just a few different ways that we can look at this, but I can tell you this, like, he's earned it. Whatever he does, he's earned it. There's no taking away from Eli's legacy at this point. And it's hard, having these little critiques of him, because the standard, he's been great for a really long time. And so when he goes out there, he's clearly not into it. It stands out like a sore thumb, because we all know what he can do. We've seen it this year. But I agree.
These are the weekends, the 6-9 weekends or the 5-4s. Those are the weekends that will keep us having Eli Tomac around in 2026, potentially 2027. So everybody watching, listen to this, give him a pass for these weekends. Otherwise, he won't be around. We've seen it time and time again. That's why we still have Ken Roczen around. He's okay with winning 1, 2, 3 races a year and being a top 5 guy. Yeah. And I love it. I love it for the sport. Keep these guys around longer.
But Eli's not there yet within himself. He hasn't accepted it.
You don't think?
No, because it would be hard to accept it, because he just won races like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But will he? That was kind of what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Was if that's where he is, which it's a small sample size. He's had a couple bad races, not the end of the world. But just based off it, kind of, I don't know, the bad races were kind of in dramatic fashion, because clearly he's not into it. Like, you see in his body language. So is he going to get to a point where, like Ken gets passed for 5th place, and he's not thinking to himself, what the hell am I doing here?
Yeah.
That's what Eli's thinking right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because Ken's going in with a different mindset of, like, this is where I'm at, and will Eli accept that, or will he just retire?
Yeah.
Or will he not be that? Or will he not be that? Or will he get back to form where he's podium guy winning all the time? Could happen. Well,
unfortunately, I think he's going to have to accept it, because you see how good Jet is?
Dude.
You see how good Hunter is?
I mean,
Chase is really good.
You're asking a lot. You're asking a lot of Eli to be better than he's ever been in his life.
Yes. Yes. And the only thing that scares me, AC, I don't know what the terms of his new contract is, but if it's all 31 for the next 2 years, dude, as a 30-something-year-old with 3 kids and doing it for this long, I just think it's a lot.
Do Supercross in the playoffs.
That's what I would think.
Maybe a couple outdoors, like a limited outdoor schedule. Go to your favorite tracks, say goodbye to the fans.
The Kenny schedule. Ken's hitting the nail on the head, and we've kept him around for 2 or 3 more years longer than we should have, and he'll probably stick around for 2 or 3 more because of that. Mm-hmm. I hope Eli does that as well.
Well, I mean, these guys get 2 weeks off after 31 events. 2 weeks off. And if you're switching teams, you get about 2 days off. So I agree 100%. I agree. I absolutely agree. Now, let's get into the other one. My last real guy to talk about in the 450 class, Jorge Prado. Decent second moto. We'll lead with that. Pretty good. Top 5. That seems like it's kind of been his Southwick. Maybe he had a little more. That's been kind of his ceiling. His good races are about 5th, 6th. Nothing wrong with that. But JB, you had a great point. We were talking before we started the show. You had a great point about his laps in practice, and I will give you the floor.
Well, I'm trying to figure out or find ways to make sense of all this. We've seen the 12th in the first moto at Millville. To me, it just looked like he gave up. He wanted to pull off the track more than anybody else out there, more than Eli Tomac. Jorge looked like he just wanted to pull off the track.
There's no doubt about it. He gave up. There's no doubt.
Yes, he was well inside the top 5. But I was thinking, so a lot of the first motos have not been that good. And we talk about tracks and this and that. And so what I was wondering, and I've kind of noticed through the course of the year, especially going back to Lakewood, this weekend in Millville, whenever they show Prado on the camera during race day live, during qualifying, he's rarely on a fast lap. Most of the time he's shaking his head, pulling into the pits. So I was like, man, I'm gonna go look how many laps he actually did, how many full like fast laps he did at Millville this weekend before he lined up on the gate. So remember, he's going to these new tracks, very first time he's ever been to Millville. He did 5 total fast laps. That's counting both qualifying sessions. 5 fast laps to where you can feel what the bike is going to do. You can know the angles of the track, because AC, when you're not going up to speed, when you're 5 to 10 seconds off of what your normal speed is, your race pace, the track totally changes. The angles change. Where I enter this turn, now it's going to put me out over here. Okay, so that's not good. So on race pace, I need to hit over here and cut back over here. He did 5 total fast laps before he lined up for Moto 1 of a track he's never ridden. So now he goes out, he starts top 3. In my opinion, he doesn't even know the track. He doesn't know his motorcycle. He doesn't know where to go.
Doesn't know
where's
what
he
day
going to
it
go
is.
down mountain. Like, he doesn't know anything. So then he fades back to 12th, and it's like, what just happened there? Well, now he's got the track down. He's got it figured out. Okay, I need to go right over here and cut back over here. Or he followed some guy's line or entered the sand whoops properly. So then the next moto, he somewhat got it figured out. You blame it on the bike. You fix the bike a little bit. Then you go out there and ride to your potential, and you get a top 5. So do you think there's anything to that? I mean, because I can't imagine going to a new track and doing 5 laps, dropping the gate, and expecting myself to be a podium guy or a top 5 guy.
I think it's hard. You see guys do less laps when they're struggling with the bike. And for me, I was always the type where if I was focused on going fast, I was focused on going fast. And if I was focused on the bike, I was focused on the bike. It was hard for me to do both. Yeah. So I would love to. I was a guy that didn't like to make a lot of changes during the session, especially outdoors. You got 10 minutes, 20 minutes of total riding.
Total, yeah.
You're doing 12 laps, 13 laps on a track you've never ridden before. So I didn't like coming into the pits a lot, but I'm sure that's what he's struggling with. Is like he clearly doesn't like the motorcycle. And so he goes out there, does some things, makes a mistake, gets frustrated, comes into the pits, and he's kind of already probably, from the outside looking in, he's probably already like expecting the bike to be bad. So that affects your attitude. That affects like how much you want to be there. And we get to the first moto, 2 sessions for whatever reason. I heard Katie Osborne had a pit report. He talked to Oscar. He said he didn't like the bike in the first moto. But I don't know, JB. I'm not sure what that is, but he definitely gave up in the first moto because I was thinking maybe because we saw like at Redbud, for example, and look, the lap times slow down towards the end of the race, even for the leaders. Track gets rougher, gets more blown out or whatever. But he's had a more dramatic drop off at the end of the races than, say the other top 5 guys. Or if you want to get on the podium, you got to be faster than that at the end of the race. So I thought maybe his fitness, like maybe, he's training in South Carolina. He's training. This is first summer training in the heat every single day, which can be really hard. But then he comes out in the second moto, and I thought that was a good moto for him. I think that's something to build on. I feel like it's been a long time, maybe since Fox Raceway, since he's had like 2 decent motos, like inside the top 5, like around the top 5. I think for him right now, that's fine. Like anywhere in that 4 to 7 range, if he can consistently do that, that's something to build on. But we can't build on a 12th.
Yeah.
We can't build on, the bike's not working right. So, I'm going to pull the clutch in at the top of this hill and just rev the bike to the moon and dump the clutch 5 times. Like you can't, and I get it. Like, trust me. I know you've been there too, JB, where you're like, what is this thing I'm riding right now? It's kicking you all over the place. You're a champion. You've won races and you're 4 seconds a lap off the leaders. And you're like, it feels like the sky's falling. So I'm not saying it's not hard. But he's better than that. Like he's better than the 12th in the first moto. He gives his best effort. That's an 8th. You know, that's a ninth, that's an eighth. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard to balance. What are you doing to the bike in between sessions or during the sessions? And I think it says a lot about where they're at right now too. I mean, if he's in the pits as much as it looks like he is on TV, like they're still searching that hard. Even though I know Oscar's crew chief has been down at Club MX during the week, I know they've been doing a lot. And so, yeah, I think right now he's maybe just hyper fixated on the motorcycle, and it's really difficult to overcome discomfort when that's all you're focused on, which again, I'm an analyst. I'm not inside the situation. It could be different, but from the outside, that's what it looks like.
Yeah. Two more things on Jorge. I think at this point, you're obviously trying to get the bike better, but you're trying to also build a relationship with the team, with Oscar, with the suspension guys, with the team manager. So like, no matter how bad or good the motorcycle is, your effort level needs to be 100%. And you mentioned it. If that's 100% effort for that whole moto, I mean, it's probably like a fifth or a sixth. I mean, Justin Cooper had a huge crash in practice.
I was being nice.
Yeah. J. Coop, huge crash in practice. Didn't even know if he's going to line up. He gets fifth first moto.
Yeah.
So I just think
Jorge's just too good for that. He's too good.
That's what I don't like. That's why it's different between him and Eli. That's why I mentioned I think it's different. Eli's proven it.
Well, it's definitely different. I meant it more like there's some similarities there, but you're absolutely right in clarifying that they're different. They're in way different spots in their career. Yeah, Eli gets way more of a pass.
Yeah. Jorge, like you have to continue to build that relationship with the team, because if they watch the motorcycle, Oscar can watch a motorcycle from a mile away and let you know if it's good or bad.
Yeah.
If he's watching it and said, man, sorry, I know it wasn't that good, but man, thank you so much for that effort. Because they're trying. Oscar's basically living in South Carolina now.
Yeah.
Chad Reed's helping, which is awesome. I think Chad's going to help. But I think if we talk to Chad, we'd be like, Chad's not giving up like that. I mean, there's been times when obviously, like you have to have a little more effort out there.
And that's what's going to get the team pissed off.
Discouraged. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That isn't going to sit well, right? No. If you go out there and you tuck the front because you're trying and you don't have the front end feel, or I don't know, it's not like he needs to go out there and do anything dangerous. But Jorge is good enough to know, like, okay, this is where the bike's at. I got to ride around it a little bit. I got to go around this bump here. I got to make sure I'm not on a lean angle here, and do everything he can. He's fit enough to do all that. So like you said, that will cause some tension for sure.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll say is I've ridden at Club MX since day one. I rode there at that track. It was Zach Osborne's sand track. I rode it before it was even Club MX. Millville is the closest track to Club MX basically on the circuit. Dirt, little bit of a hard base, but sandy sections. So I think there needs to be a lot of accountability on Jorge's shoulders, that the direction he's taking the team. And I don't think riders take enough, whether it's credit or discredit, for the way they've taken their team, because that Oscar's thrown 100 different settings at him and Jorge's going to pick. And we've seen Jorge, like Redbud, when he led for a while.
It's good. Solid.
That's solid.
100%.
So I think there needs to be a little more accountability on Jorge's shoulder as, hey, we've been testing in South Carolina at a track that's very, very similar to Millville. The bike it's not a 12th place bike, dude. It is not a 12th place motorcycle.
In general, the only time for me, like his comments after Southwick were basically like, if I would be way better, or I think I could still be winning, but I just don't have the equipment to do that. Yeah. The only time that's justified is if the team's not listening to you at all. Like, and you got to get their attention somehow. Like if you just have no pull within the team, nobody's listening, nobody's helping. But I know that's not Cowie's deal. Like they're I don't know, man. I think that in general, you're right in the fact that the rider has a lot of control in most scenarios of where the bike goes.
Yeah.
So if you hate the bike, it's at least 50% on you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry about it. You know, it is your job as well to set up the motorcycle. So yeah, again, one of those things with Jorge where he's too good for that. He's a champion. I've talked about it so much during Supercross, how I think, you know, his mentality will take him a long way. And, you know, I still believe that he can do it. I really do. But you can't do that. You cannot do that. I can't see that the rest of the year. And I can tell you, Dan Fahey, Oscar, those guys, they work their tail off. They're not having any fun watching that either. So
it's like
I'm
it's
sure they tightened it up.
It's his greatest strength, but it's also his biggest detriment right now is that mindset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That belief to win. And if you're not winning, you're just kind of like deflated. So,
well, and I think also in order to keep that belief that you are a winner, that you can do this, it's almost like you kind of latch on to things to justify it in your head, because two things can't be true at the same. You can't be getting 10th place and every weekend and then being like, I'm as fast as Jet.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't go together. So there has to be something in order, because he clearly has that belief in himself, which is great. And so I give him a little leeway there because he's trying to maintain. He's not just comfortable losing, you know? And so I kind of give him a pass there a little bit, but you know, like you got to be a little more professional, I think, you know, when the team's trying that hard. So
5'5", 6'6", 7'5".
Yep, that's fine. I'm fine
good.
with that. Fine with that.
5'4", great day.
Great day. Podium in a moto, just little things to build on, just like we talked about with Forkner. It's just like, let's see 2 consistent motos inside the top 7 or so. You know, get in with like RJ, right? Like make your goal. RJ's been fantastic.
Yeah.
Like get in that zone right there. And sometimes I think when your expectations are, and Ricky Carmichael will talk to you about this all the time. Shout out RC. Like if your expectations are to go out there and to win the race and you're in 5th, that can easily lead to like this discouraged lack of conviction in your riding. But if you're like, hey, my goal is to, you know, make my worst lap closer to my best lap than it was the week before, you go out there with that goal, it's easier. You're coming from a different place. So when it doesn't go that way results wise, it's not as discouraging. So yeah, that's pretty much it, man. You got anything else?
Just going to give RJ a shout out. 4-4.
Dude,
I mean,
guy's good.
This is so impressive. I can't wait to see him in Supercross.
Pretty good for a baseball player.
Yeah, pretty good.
He is. He really is, though. Like RJ, man, I don't know. I got a lot of respect for that guy. I really do. I really do. He's just, I've said it on here probably 5 times this summer even. He just has scratched and clawed for everything he's got. Yeah. And I think there was a time where, you know, especially kind of towards the end of the Geico days, where it just seemed like RJ was always going to be RJ, and he was going to be fast sometimes and crash a lot. And there's totally times where it didn't look like he would have didn't look like he'd have the career that he's had now with a championship, with a factory 450 ride. It's plenty of times where that did not look like it would happen. And he's never stopped trying to get better, you know, and it shows. Like you can't hide on the weekends. And what RJ has done, attitude, he's done, I really think he's gotten the most out of it, like every step of the way in his career. He's made changes when he's needed to. And so, yeah, I echo your sentiments. Great job. And I think a podium's coming, JB.
Yeah. Podium overall, you think?
I think so. Man, let's start with a moto podium.
He got one, Redbud.
Oh, yeah, he did. Dang, I'm bad at this job. Terrible. Yeah, it pretty much wraps it. It's pretty much the stories from Millville. Justin, a little bit of a shorter show this week, under 2 hours, which is crazy for us, honestly. Yeah, it's great to have Jmart on. Washougal next weekend. my favorite track by far.
Really?
I don't care about the shadows. I don't care about the
Wow.
rocks. Everybody talks about, oh, Washougal, it looks like it has so much traction, but it's really crazy slick. Like, what? No, it's not. Like, it's awesome, man. Like, there's a couple slick spots like here and there, like any other track, but I don't get it. I don't get the track super slick thing. I always loved going to that place. If I had to come out of retirement for one race, that's where I'd be. Tell you
Really?
that. The
That's
roost
it.
sucks. The roost sucks. That's pretty much it.
It does suck. Up horsepower hill off the start. If you don't hole shot, buckle up, boys. It's gonna hurt.
It's gonna hurt, man. It's like playing paintball.
It
really
yeah.
is. It really is. But JB, fantastic show as always. Just carrying the show. I hope you got your copper fit, back support brace on. Did I say that? I think I said that last weekend.
Come on.
But yeah, we still don't have a sign yet. There's nothing. We still got nothing back here. So I'm sorry,
you were
guys.
Making one. You were making one.
Yeah. There's a guy that hit me up on Instagram that said he's going to make me one. So haven't heard.
No,
from
I
him
was
in a
saying
couple
you were writing one. Like what'd you have, a piece of tape? You put ACJB show on. You're gonna put it up.
Yeah, I had a little sticky note. I was going to put it up, but I figured it. We've got a pretty professional operation going on here, so I wanted to. I also put a smiley face on my other sticky note, but we'll save it for something. It's coming. It's coming. We got 10,000 subscribers now. The following is growing, so a sign will happen. Maybe I should start a GoFundMe.
Easy on the GoFundMe.
Or maybe you could pay for it, dude. I know you're living. Look at what you got over there. This is like $12,000 custom cabinets behind you.
Please.
It's crazy.
On to your favorite track. On to Washougal. Jmart, thank you so much for coming on. It was awesome to hear from him. And any predictions for Washougal AC? Does Eli Tomac find his form again, or what you got, real quick?
I don't know. Hayden Deegan and Jet Lawrence probably win. 80% chance.
You're really going out on a limb.
Yeah, I'm really gonna. Yeah, I don't really have any other predictions. I think. We'll see how it plays out. It's really, we kind of know who's most likely to win, but it's still been behind the winners. It's pretty like there's a fair amount of storylines. Yeah. So it's still stimulating for me to, I think it's still stimulating for the fans right now. And who knows, man? One of these weekends, Hunter Lawrence is going to win the whole thing. He's going to go out there. He's going to go one. I don't know if it's this weekend. I don't know if it's next weekend. But Jet's great. Jet's great. We know he is. But it's coming for Hunter. He's too good.
It still makes no sense to me that Hunter Lawrence has yet to win a 450 outdoor overall.
It's insane.
Like, that makes no sense.
None.
I feel like he should have 6 or 7, 8 of them by now, but he'll get one soon.
Thank you,
guys.
On
to Washougal. Thanks, AC. Thanks, everybody, for watching and listening. See you next week.
See you next week.